It's that time again for EverQuest's Next Into the Portal. Your hosts for this evening are Geekdomo, LockSixTime, and Trendane. Let's get to the show right about now. Hello, everybody.
And Tobran and LegendaryNeurotoxin.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's going to take me like 4 days to redo that. Hold on. I gotta put my headphones on, otherwise the echo is going to be crazy. There we go. Is it better?
Is it better?
Testes, 1, 2, 3.
So good.
Excellent. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to EverQuest Next Into the Portal and EverQuest Next Destruction. We destroy EverQuest Next because it is fully destructible, as they've said before.
I don't think they meant the whole thing.
Yeah. Can't we
Don't worry,
say
I'll
the whole
go back.
thing? Please.
Safe hands, Domo.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back to the show, Mr. Drunken Monkey, a.k.a. Legendary Neurotoxin.
Drunky Munkin, yes, thank you very much.
Drunky Munkin. Drunky Munkin. And Locke is back. Yay, Locke.
Hey everyone.
How are your knees?
It's good to be back. I missed you guys.
Show us the breast you got implanted on your knees.
Are we allowed to on Twitch?
Oh, maybe not.
Does that
Okay,
come
yeah,
under-
that whole thing they just did with
Does that come
Sony
under gaming content?
Playroom, yeah.
It can.
No, we'll have to check that.
Maybe next week. And, of course, Mr. Trendane, as always. He's back. And then Tobran is back for yet another adventure with us.
Yay!
Yay.
You have any pizza left over?
I do. I have a whole pizza left. That'll make no sense to anyone else. It should be fine.
It won't.
Basically,
Yeah.
I was live streaming, and then we ordered a pizza. And
We still can't get Tobran to grow a beard. He's tried.
no, I'm
Being Scottish
That
is
should
the
just be
same as
enough.
having a beard.
He keeps going like that, making his face go red, and it just isn't working. He's popped a couple blood vessels in his eyes.
You're supposed to do it like the Play-Doh barbershop.
Yeah. Like this, and it all just kind of comes out. That'd be so easy.
It would be, but it would also be messy.
It would be.
Sorry,
Having a
messy.
Play-Doh beard. Just a couple more years, yeah. All right, so here we
Just
are.
rub some charcoal on your face.
There you go. We'll fool everybody. I'm sure they got those things they use in the movies. They could put like a fake beard on or something.
I'll get a fake beer for next week.
Stipple sponge.
There we go.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, for those who might be new in the audience, what we do is we have a discussion in the beginning here. We talk about some new topics that's happened since last week or recently, and then we're going to then open the floor up for you to send your questions in. So while you're in the audience, all you have to do is type in question in brackets, and the moderator who is today is Meika, as always, actually. She's in the audience. Meika will... Exactly, just like that. Meika will grab the question and throw it into our chat, and then we're good to go. We'll answer your questions as best we can. We are not developers, and we do all have restraining orders to keep us away from the developers. So,
Some of us more than others.
yes, specifically Locke.
Actually,
I
I
was thinking
don't.
me.
Well, that's not quite fair because I filed mine on Omid's first.
Yeah, he had the first one.
just because he won the he won the right in court, you know.
Yeah.
I won the moral.
Yeah, they love having me around, but unfortunately, they just want my beer.
Yes. So, Drunky Munkin, well, let's call you Legendary Neurotoxin. That's easier.
Yeah, that's what people know me by.
The just wrote this really epic story about brewing in EverQuest Next, and he went into the detail of how much specific gravity we're going to need for each vial that we create before we release the brew.
I mean, not quite that much level of detail, but I've definitely
Just kidding.
put quite a lot of time and effort into it, and really tried to put it in the context of not just brewing beer, but really brewing any sort of magical fermented beverage in general, because alcohol isn't the only magical substance that can be fermented in EverQuest Next and Landmark. So it makes sense that it's actually a complicated and worthwhile system. Something that rivals the level of, I guess, complexity that you would expect for like the weapon crafting or even house building.
Maybe
There's
so.
Yeah, I mean, there's really a lot that goes into it, and then where it can actually be applied to is it's little market transactions, just doing something out in the field, or somebody who's really trying to make an empire on just making absolutely epic potions that you're going to need so and so's potion if you're actually planning to do the toughest kind of content or go after the bosses and the rallying call events.
I want something like in The Princess Bride. Like you go to this guy's house and he's got his wife in there.
So nut and chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate covering on the thing. And what was that guy's name? 50
Miracle
points.
Max.
Miracle Max, yes.
Okay.
So Miracle Max. I want Miracle Max's special potions that I can take when I start fighting Nagafin's younger brother, Ralph.
Yeah, you gotta get some more challenging questions, like what was Count Rugen's first name?
Ooh.
Reginald? No, not even.
Christopher Guest.
Yes. Christopher was his first name.
It is
Tyrone.
in all seriousness, it's a really fantastic piece by the legendary neurotoxins done, and it's incredibly in depth, and I think what it says about they call it craft brewing, don't they? What it says about crafting in MMOs compared to the knowledge and dedication that goes into crafting in real life. I suppose why shouldn't high end crafting require as much as much knowledge and planning as a high level raid?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like all at once. You don't have to worry about active. I'm terribly sorry. Neurotoxin, I forget all the specific nomenclature. But why shouldn't there be active parts of the process that we have to maintain, or at least think about? Why shouldn't different things have different effects? And as you go up in power and complexity of potions, why shouldn't it be a more complex process to make that? So simple stuff should be simple, and good stuff should require effort, I think.
Yeah.
I don't like it because it's got warts.
It might give you warts. I mean, that's the sign of a very strong potion.
Yeah, that was the second kind of case scenario that I put at the very bottom, was the guy who might be a great brewer, but he knows nothing about distilling. And that's the same thing that happens in real life. If you don't know how to distill, you're making methanol. You're not making moonshine. You're making blind juice.
Which would be great if you drank some of his potions or whatever, and you went blind for a while.
Yeah. Well, that was the entire scenario, is that they're gonna go fight this dragon that's been harassing their stuff, so they get these epic potions, and they have them distilled to make sure they don't slosh around in their belly and take up a bunch of space. So they go out thinking that these potions are gonna get them ready for like fire resistance, charm resistance, fear resistance. They're gonna just fuck this dragon up.
No, and they. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and they drink it, and aside from ogres who, for whatever reason, their physiology is immune to methanol, everybody else drinks it. And yeah, they're immune to fire and charm and fear, but they're blind.
Immune to light.
It's just a super stealth potion, is all it is. It's
reversed.
Yeah.
It puts the monster as stealth, and
yeah, so they kind of get the floor wiped, and it costs them a pretty penny. Plus, the repair bill and all that, fun stuff, and feeding loot to a dragon. That's never a good thing.
God, Omid is here.
Oh, hello, Omid.
How's it going, Omid?
Oh, I gotta turn my phone down. Sorry about that.
I was going to say, every time a bell rings, we get an Omid?
Sorry about that, everybody. Turn that off. Okay, so yeah, for those who might not have seen the article, it's pretty lengthy, and it's really in-depth, and it's great. I put the link up here. It's really short. It's bit.ly/LN Brew for Legendary Neurotoxin Brew. Go ahead and click that or type that in, and it should go right to his the thing. Oh, he's back from his boating disaster. So,
Off to sea.
I think I saw that video. It's like you're in a speedboat and there's like 6 girls in bikinis around you, and all of a sudden you hit a wave at like 55 miles an hour, and everyone flies around, everyone smashes their face into the walls. Was that your video? We'll hear back in a second.
I hope that's not him. That'd be terrible.
See, Locke thinks it would be incredibly amusing.
Yes,
I did. Just only in like full Miami Vice mode.
Okay, so the thing I've been kind of tripping out on is every week the different video that Omid's in and the little changes to the side profile of his little chin scruff.
Yes.
It's always a little different, and it's
like
it's
this
very
way,
interesting to
goes
see
a
how
little
it changes.
goes back.
It's the Grand Vizier look, I've told you. Like from the front, like as if you were talking to him. It's like, hey, it's Omid, this is a cool guy, he's on your side. Then he turns to the side and it's just the evil face.
So it like flips forward.
It is, I've said this before, it's the Vizier point.
Yeah.
You can't trust him. Everyone, you can't. Everyone watching. I'm
Who do
saying
you
this
actually
for
trust, Locke? There are very few people you actually trust. I've noticed this.
It's not that I'm a weird paranoid recluse that, you know, it's not like I live in a log cabin in the woods or anything. Do I look like I live in a log cabin in the
Yes.
woods?
Well, as
No,
long
like-
as
Oh,
the log cabin is half blue and half white, yes, but you know.
It's a log cabin, but in Minecraft, so everything's all square.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's get on with the show, I guess. Everyone, make sure you keep writing in the questions. What's the news from last week? What came out that was new and exciting?
wasn't anything super good, I think, apart from roundtable stuff.
Yeah, we had a wonderful new roundtable response video. I suppose after the with the Thanksgiving break and everything, I'm sure they were
everything's gonna
getting
slow
some much needed R&R. But the roundtable response video that we had, it was actually about a topic that proved to be very, very popular when it first started doing the rounds on the forums, which was the day-night cycle. You know, obviously a lot of people have a lot of fond memories of that from EverQuest. So it was a big thing. You know, we talk about wanting the world to feel alive, and you know that's obviously part of that. And I believe, I may be wrong on this, but we had a majority on this, didn't we?
Yeah, it was. So Mead
This-
said in the
yeah.
video, he said it's not a duality, it's a
Not a
singularity.
plurality.
Yeah, plurality, whatever.
Yeah. This is just purely something that I've learned from watching those videos. I had no idea before. But yeah, it's great to see, and it's great that the players and SOE are on the same page about it as well.
So what they were saying is that at night, everyone wants it to be more dangerous than during the day. And not that night is any more dangerous than the day, but like he was saying in the video, I think Terry might have been the one saying it, that when at nighttime you just lose, maybe it was on me, that you just lose a little bit less of your senses. So you can't tell what's happening over here as far that you could during the daytime. So it feels more dangerous. You feel more claustrophobic and more closed in.
Right. You're fighting the same bear you'd be fighting during the day, except you don't know what else is around. You can't really see the terrain. You can't see escape routes. If it starts to maul you, you need to get away. So the danger level is heightened, unless you're, you know, some race that maybe gets a bonus during the night and gets night vision, in which case, I don't know, maybe they have limited vision during the day as a counter to that.
Could be. Like,
Could be.
especially like Dark Elves, you know, they had a, supposedly in D&D style, you're not supposed to be able to see as well during the day.
The other thing I thought would be interesting, they didn't cover it in the roundtable, but for one, it was amazing to see Terry in a T-shirt.
Yeah. it's a nice
Two,
shirt.
sorry. Two, was the fact that, you know, when they were discussing I think you're right. I think it was Omid who mentioned that you can't see the bear that's about to kill you until you like literally bump into him. And as somebody who has spent some time walking around in the woods in the middle of the night, when you've got a torch, torches make for some very creepy shadows around you when you're trying to walk at night. It's very, very, you know, it doesn't help much. It helps a little bit, but it helps you see better, but it also helps you see shit that isn't there.
Right.
You know? So it's
Long shadows behind the trees that are cast when it's really freaky. even a flashlight, you know, it's really freaky in the woods at night. So that sense of danger should be there, and I agree that they went with that thought too.
I think it's interesting that it is a question of perception, as they've said, but you know, they also said that they want the world to be to feel like it's still explorable at night. You know, people aren't going to be totally cut off from that, and I think that was a bit of a point of contention with some people. You know, the usual sky is falling crowd, where it's like, oh, it's not going to be pitch black, easy mode, WoW clone. You know, those people that I love so much. But it's kind of I thought it was an interesting thing how they seem to. It's almost like a balance thing, isn't it? It's like a seesaw. You have the perception thing on one side, and as it gets darker, you know, the world gets more dangerous because you lose perception. But then, you know, you need to. So as the world like isn't as dark and you have more perception of the world, it's almost like you need to. Maybe it's not like a seesaw. You need to bring the danger up as well to kind of compensate at night. So it'll be less that it'll be pitch black, but more that there'll be dangerous elements within the world. And light sources, as Trendane was saying, is a really interesting thing because it kind of casts shadows and everything, and it could potentially be like a thing that you use to ward off certain enemies and like make them afraid of you and not want to come near the light because they want to be in the dark. But at the same time, it could act as a beacon for more sort of intelligent, you know, maybe humanoid races like orcs or anything. They'll be able to see you from a lot further away. So, you know, there's that risk versus reward thing to even having a light source on you. And playing with dark's really interesting.
Moth centaurs, yes.
Moths.
Oh yeah, centaur moths.
And yeah, the fact that so much of the game and the procedural content's going to be underground, which I assume will have dark areas as well. It means that they can really play with the idea of, you know, mobs and enemies that, you know, that favor the dark and, you know, come out at night. And does that mean that underground is actually safer at night and overground is less in certain areas? Who knows?
When you were playing, I mean, we're talking about a game that's very similar to Minecraft, you know, and in Minecraft, a lot of times the creepers come out at night, right? So what you would do is when you're first starting off, you'd start digging your hole down, and you'd close off the top area so that you were safe from anything digging down. I'm wondering if you're going to be able to do something similar here to keep the bad things from sneaking in behind you while you're down there digging. So you can close it off somehow, put up a bunch of rocks, and then go down and dig a bunch underground, feel safe for the night, and then you can go back outside when the daytime comes. Have we heard any specifics on how long the day-night cycle is exactly? Have they said anything?
Not exactly. I don't believe it.
I thought I saw a lot of people saying like 3 hours or 5 hours or something around those range. So maybe something like that. That's not really, you know, I haven't seen any official word anywhere, but just for what I remember looking through all the comments and stuff, it seemed like people were more in like the 3 to 5 hour range. And personally, I think something that doesn't line up evenly with the 24-hour cycle works really well. So that way, someone who logs in consistently at noon every day will have a slightly different experience every day rather than being locked in at, you know, noon or midnight every time they log in.
Mm-hmm. They said Omid says they'll be responding to that in the next couple of weeks. Great, thank you for
nice.
It's
I like Cyril's.
Still being discussed. Get involved.
Yeah.
Get on the phone. Say what you think.
I like Cyril's answer. 78 minutes and 27 seconds.
Well, see, that is 78 minutes worth of night and 27 seconds worth of daytime.
Right. Because, you know, you watch all these videos, these really cool videos, and they show that really cool night cycle and day cycle, and you see the way it changes the shadows and stuff, and it's like, oh, that's so pretty. I wonder if it's going to be really that short.
You mentioned being underground and whatnot. I found myself wondering, you know, what would happen if you get down into one of these crystalline caverns with the giant crystals on the wall, and you've got a torch, and like the light hits it, and then it just fractalizes everywhere. Like,
that'd be awesome.
Okay, that would destroy my processor power.
Well, we've seen from the videos and stuff, like, you know, the sun moves across the sky, but the light's directional. So as it goes through, you know, as it goes through trees and stuff. So that is a really good point. You know, how that's going to be affected underground, the direction of light. It's pretty cool.
Ooh, yeah. If they do that really, really well, like the light is actually coming from the sun, I would love to see somebody build something like a Stonehenge thing that at certain times of day
fantastic.
It casts this beam.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that would be very
just
cool.
like a little mix of Raiders of the Lost Ark with the actual Stonehenge. No, I would love to.
Yeah.
When I was
It's
younger,
for the Omid statue.
Right, you're around Omid's feet. Stonehenge is around Omid's feet. No, when I was younger, I was totally into Stonehenge. I was like in the whole druidism thing and all that, and I wanted to build it out of concrete here in the United States. Somebody's already done that several times actually. There's quite a few
with Cadillacs.
Well, there's a Cadillac hinge, but I'm talking about there's a real replica made out of concrete in a couple of different states in the United States.
Actually, there's another example that I can think of is ancient Greece. There would be a lot of buildings that would be oriented in such a way that the way the columns and stuff were aligned, it would always provide light no matter what angle the sun was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of that sort of stuff. Honestly, if you want to see what the sunsets and sunlight in general is going to be like, just check out PlanetSide 2 and look at some of the sunrise sunset videos, or just get in the game and look at it. There is one kind of weird oddity though, is things that are kind of, I guess, towards the far end of the angle. You can perceptibly see them change from like the lights here and then the lights here in one very sudden iteration, one very sudden tick. So I don't know, what can be done to smooth it if that's just the way it works, is every few seconds it moves however many degrees, or if it's based on minutes or whatever. And that sort of thing, I'm sure the intervals can be improved so that way it's a lot smoother and that sort of stuff won't happen. Mm-hmm. It's probably just hasn't been done on PlanetSide 2 because it's such like a minor element to the game. We're not sitting around looking at the shadows and the light. Hopefully we're going and blasting the crap out of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
didn't I see something recently that they actually made the nights darker in PlanetSide 2?
Yeah, and they'd had them much darker in the past, but I think they're working on revamping the lights and making them better, making them more powerful, longer range, and generally more relevant. And then once that goes in, that'll probably be going in alongside the darker nights actually coming in. I think they're also working on having some continents differentially darker at night than others.
That's interesting. I wonder how much of the recent optimization work they've done on PlanetSide 2, with the sharing the engine and everything. I wonder how much of that is going to impact EverQuest Next development.
Maybe someone actually built that.
Yeah, this is in progress.
I remember it looks too short.
Tobran, they don't have real things in America.
I know.
It's concrete over here. Are you kidding me?
we just go and look at it.
Yeah, but no, it's pretty cool. I like that. I would like to make some sort of real things in Landmark. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to doing. As you know, I've talked about building the Shire, but also like Stonehenge, what I always wanted to do when I was a kid. That kind of stuff. I'd like to do that.
That'd be amazing if you could make a Stonehenge that really did line up and everything, but then have at a certain time of day, like as the sun moved in a certain way, actually like spawn an event around it, like a kind of dynamic thing, earth spirits.
What about at night? There's a lot of flowers that at night bloom, and like they gotta have several flowers that bloom at night, and maybe they could be sort of like on what was it, Avatar, whatever the name of that planet was, Pandora, right? Mm-hmm. So that when at nighttime everything sort of lights up and turns like bioluminescent. Wouldn't that be cool? Like running through like a bioluminescent forest or something.
And then you have mobs whose AI is attracted to those flowers. So every night time you have to protect the bioluminescent flowers.
That's definitely a part of it. Anybody can go out and pick flowers during the day. That's easy. But at night, there's a lot more risk. And if they're flowers that glow and have glowing sap or whatever in them, when you pick them, they're still going to glow for a little bit. And it's kind of going to be a beacon that enemies are going to be able to hone in on. So just picking flowers at night is going to be way more dangerous than during the day. I mean, that's not necessarily, I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing, or maybe they could also put off a funky odor when they're picked or whatever, but they've definitely said there will be different things during different phases, and not even like just a cut and dry day and night. Some things will only be available just when the night, sets on, or right before the sun comes up, or, stuff like that. So there's going to be, some amount of advantage and rewards to being out at different times of the night, not just, popping out right at the very end of it before the day starts up again.
Omid just said the word luminescent or bioluminescent was definitely in an email I saw today between Darren and Jeff.
I was going to say that'd be amazing if you I was just thinking of the really deep sea fish and stuff that have like bioluminescence. If you're having like a dark night and you're making light sources important for players, like how cool would that be to have like bioluminescent mobs that come out of the night and come after the luminescent flowers and stuff.
The male, I'm showing the male, the sci-fi noble pack, and it's luminescent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that itself, I mean, the players will be able to look that way too.
To just go fishing and go swimming, and then you wind up becoming the lure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lights in the suit. Cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so that's pretty exciting. No, he just said that they'll have some sort of bioluminescent. I just think it's kind of natural. It is part of the natural world in real life, so why couldn't it be more in the fantasy world too? And underground too, some shrooms. There could be certain type of mushrooms underground that bioluminesce. So when you get in a certain area, it's just pitch black, but then all of a sudden the walls and everything are lighting up. I mean, it's already in a lot of other games. Guild Wars 2 has it in some of the caves you go into. And
if you pick them wrong, they spore all over you, and then you're covered with bioluminescent spores.
That would be awesome.
Good luck hiding.
But then make the bioluminescent mobs attracted to you by smell. This is all.
Because we all know you can smell light.
Yeah, well, that's actually something I've been wondering: is can voxels carry smell as one of odor as one of the properties, and then with that, beyond just being able to carry like flavor and odor, how is it able to scale detectability and potency and stuff? Like, if you've just been rummaging around in garbage for the past week and you go out in the forest, you should smell. Yeah, you should smell like garbage. Things should be coming after you. Like gigantic flies should be honing in on you.
I suppose if you can have a light source, because they have light sources and those light sources project. So if anything could interact with a light source, you could. I'm not a programmer, but could you program something in the same way so it was a smell source that wasn't visible to the player, but something else could react to? So you could have like a proximity thing.
A very good mechanic for that. It was in what was that game where you were that wolf spirit and you had to paint stuff?
Okami.
Thank you. God, why the hell didn't I think?
Guitar Hero. What?
Anyway, there was an element where you had to follow the scent of the children that you were trying to find, and it was just like this smoky little trail on the ground. And I mean, you could do the same sort of thing with that. Maybe Karen would have a stronger ability to track things by scent, and that's how they would see it.
All right, Omi just shot us down. He said they should be able to do it, but they have no idea if they're planning for anything like that. Probably not, because the only thing I'm thinking is that that's the one sense that we can't impart into the game. Like, we can't smell the game. They don't have any little smell-o-vision things yet. Maybe
actually they do. They've had them for a couple of years. I've seen them
but not
different.
like mass appeal kind of thing,
Oh no, not mass appeal. They all kind of suck. Sorry, sorry if anybody who's watching manufactures them, but like they still need a lot of work.
Need a lot of work. So because of that, I think that's probably why they might not have even thought to include smell as an option. But yeah,
ogre loincloths.
Ogre loincloths would definitely attract something.
Back to the voice.
Maybe ogre females would be attracted to their ogre male loincloth.
Well, it's when bards are up performing on stage and ogre loincloth gets thrown their way, it's a
grenade.
That magical moment when it clears everyone out.
It's a rite of passage for any young bard.
Yeah, slapped in the face with a wet ogre loincloth.
Let's move on.
Does it have to be wet?
Well, yes.
This topic's gonna last us an hour. Next, what are we talking about?
All right, next. Let's see. I'll go down here and figure out the titles. The landmark video that just came out about 15 minutes before we went live, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to actually show it. We can talk about it while it's playing, but I don't want to infringe on any copyrights. So to do that, I can play it and we can talk about it while it's happening, but I can't play it with their audio.
What?
Yeah.
You heard him.
Yes. Fair use. Fair use. The only way fair
as long as we're talking over its commentary, and then.
Yep. So we can play it, and you can be the voice, Locke. You can be.
No,
Mr.
Locke
George.
can be his own voice.
Okay.
Oh no, there's a delay on the stream though.
All right, you can't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever.
I can see it, but only like 5 seconds after I'm talking.
May contain inappropriate content for children. And right here we have the EverQuest sounds.
Well, when I was watching this earlier, one of the things that I did really like was the fact that we hadn't seen them build a house before, but I liked it was during the building the tower part, where he made like one or two segments and then copied the big section, and then because I do that when I'm trying to copy paste, like if I'm trying to say neener, I will
type it 3 times and then copy.
And then copy it and then paste it and then copy it 9 times and start, doing things like that. Actually, we did have a question come in that we can kind of go through right here, and it was Palace 8's question. I noticed in the Landmark video that her hair was going through the handle of the pickaxe. Do you think they will fix that?
No. The reason for it is it's a whole modeling problem, and it's been plaguing companies for years. The only way to really get around it is there's a thing called TressX, which is makes the hair more realistic, but it's very graphics card intensive, and it's, to be quite honest with you, it doesn't work that well. It sometimes makes your hair look all flaky and stuff. But I do like the way that they're showing how quick you can build things. Like this is the part Trendane was talking about right here, where you copy paste and then copy. So,
I was really interested in the the bit where they show the cliff as well. There's like one shot of the woman, Eustace is her name, I forget, but she's like in a sort of cave mouth, and then there's a couple of other bits, and then later on it seems like it's the same cave wall, but you can't see the cave anymore. So I was really curious about the scale of that, because when I first saw it, it looked absolutely monstrously huge, and I couldn't really gauge how big it actually was. Like if I just wanted it to be absolutely enormous or what.
I'm just so excited about the beautiful things that people are going to be able to build with this game. I mean,
yeah. Especially people who are good with math.
Or artists.
Oh, yeah.
And of all the titles for the little sections they've shown, the create any angles. It's the only one I'd give the announcer voice to.
Okay.
But yeah, that's that one there, the 18 minutes, 17 seconds to pretty much snow the area and completely change the biome. That's pretty cool to be able to do that, because it gives you a lot of control. That's one thing that most games I've noticed don't really do, is give differential plant life and animals and stuff at different elevations, and that kind of really misses something that happens in real life. Also, real gradual transitions from one biome to another, like in World of Warcraft, you're exiting one zone and entering another when it suddenly goes from green grass to nasty brown dirt.
But they always did some sort of wall. You're always going through some sort of like hole in the wall kind of cave or something that always transitioned between there. It wasn't like you went from snow to dirt in one step. It was always some sort of line there.
It was still way too sudden
real life, biomes are never that close together that different. But that's the problem here in a way, though, because if you're able to switch around the biomes, and then everyone around you's in a desert, and they wanted to build in the desert, and you decide to put snow right in the middle of it, how would that work?
Well, these are gigantic plots of land, so I mean, I guess someone could do that if they're going to be a troll, and then everyone just builds walls around that person's property until they leave. But hopefully a better way to do it would be if a player really wants some weird icy patch in the middle of the desert, maybe it's some like old ice shrine or something that somehow drifted there over many centuries and it's like under the ground or something. Then I could see having kind of this gradual transition from hot arid desert to this kind of swampy, like sandy, nasty stuff. And then the mech's pretty awesome. And then kind of slowly getting into where it gets icy, because there are definitely times when desert can have snow. It gets freaking cold during the winter, and it can stay cold for a while.
Elevation. I like the barrel for rockets on that mech.
Yeah.
Real quick though, there's somebody people are saying that there's some problems with Twitch. Yes. Right now my Better Twitch plugin isn't working, and I can't see how many viewers we have right now. So
same for me.
Yeah, it's,
52.
I can see we got 50. Yeah, 55 just dropped to 52.
okay. But even so, if you're having problems with Twitch, it's not you, it's not us. It's just I think there's a problem. Literally, there's a problem with Twitch. So.
Oh no.
That is neat, though. The thought of having some kind of cave really high up on the rocks like that is really cool. I mean, you don't even have to build a house. You can build some beautiful place inside of a cave, because the subtract tool that's in this game is spherical, so you can take out hunks of rock in a sphere, and you can hollow out a big section inside of a mountain.
I think we'll probably see a lot of natural formations and stuff early on, just because it's the easiest thing to make look good, and people are going to kind of want to make a place their own to begin with. And I think probably later on we'll start seeing the more impressive builds as people get used to the tools and all of that jazz.
Exactly.
So that's what I think. But the part of this video that I really liked was right at the very end when Mr. Georgeson started talking about basically putting the power of the developers in the hands of Landmark players. That's what I'm really interested in.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, all right.
I'm expecting him to go, no.
I really don't.
If you'd like that, I did actually. Bit of a self plug, but I started writing a column for Zam.com, and my first one was about what Landmark what Landmark could potentially become in terms of not just a builder but a tool for user generated content. Because I believe, the Landmark is being released as, it's got all this sort of building functionality, and we can make, what I'm seeing on the screen at the moment, great bridges and, different types of angles on things, and we'll be able to reform the terrain and stuff. But they've really started talking now about in the future we're going to be able to design the AI of mobs, and we're going to be able to, place things. And the big thing that should have been the takeaway from this video and from the PC Gamer article recently and all the ones before that, in my opinion, about Landmark, is that eventually in Landmark they want the players to have all the tools that the developers of EverQuest Next are using to make EverQuest Next. And I find it so surprising that a lot of people's questions about the game are things like, there was someone on this video that we're watching now, someone asking if they could use a separate 3D modeling tool to then put items on the Player Studio, and my response was, well, you won't have to, because eventually it will be built into Landmark. You'll be able to do it within Landmark because they're giving us the tools that they're using to make the game. And then someone replied to me going, oh no, you'll need the 3D modeler, and I was like, no, that's not.
Well,
Landmark is the tool that they're using. It's been said so many times. Landmark is the tool that they're using to build EverQuest Next. We're not just going to be building houses like in Landmark. We're going to be making content and making games within Landmark, and that's the big thing for me.
I would say there might be a little bit of nuance to the statement, because while they're using all of these tools to build EverQuest Next and Landmark, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of the tools to model all of the content are actually going to be available in the engine. The voxels can only get so small, and I don't know if there's going to be some way to work with the voxels and make a larger scale version and then scale it down later. But it seems to me that they probably will still have to use 3D modeling tools to make things that are smaller than the smallest voxels, and the modifications on those, like the rounding and smoothing and stuff, can actually.
We've seen that they have props and things, but my point is it's not just a voxel manipulation engine. Like they've said that we're going to be able to introduce and model AI and like create our own mobs and things. You're not making AI parameters out of voxels. That's obviously going to be a separate tool within the game, in the same way that a 3D modeler would be a separate tool within the game. And I'm sure there'll be lots of different tools that are introduced as time goes on.
So think of it as voxels being the landscape and buildings. And the props would be anything that is going to be modeled separately.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the point. It's not Landmark isn't for making buildings. It's for making games. That's the ultimate goal of Landmark is, you know, for people to be able to make an MMO in the same way that SOE can make EverQuest Next using it. They want people to be able to make something like that if they have, you know, the time and resources and energy to put into it, and if Landmark is successful enough to, you know, warrant that level of development into it. That's what they want. They want it to be a tool for player generated content, and that's what excites me about Landmark.
Cool.
So yes.
I'm just reading some of the comments here. Omid's having some discussions with the.
See if Omid's just going, nah, it's crazy.
No, he's talking with the people in the audience, which is great.
No. You can build a nice house though, you know, and it's in SOE's best interest as well. Like, imagine, you know, it's very unlikely that people are going to be paying real money for the type of structures that we're seeing in Landmark at the moment. You know, they've just shown the time-lapse footage. If it only takes less than a minute to knock up a box to build a house, are people really gonna be spend like any money on buildings? No, people are going to be buying. They're going to be buying props. They're going to be buying skins for characters. You know, they're going to be buying
super detailed structures, like some kind of Viking longhouse that's built to the exact specifications of a real Viking longhouse. You know, something. I mean,
something that takes like a real amount of time and dedication. But really, like with the building tools that we've seen so far, like apart from maybe scale. You know, there's very few things that you could do that I think would be worth buying, because then once you've bought them, what do you do with it within Landmark? You know, it sits there and it looks pretty. You know, you buy it because you want to use it for something. Someone, I forget who it was, but someone had a really interesting idea about a kind of modular tower design where people could use the different modules to just fit together a tower to make like a very quick sort of bespoke dungeon experience. I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, that's the whole point. You buy things to use them, and I think the things, you know, if you look at the Dota 2 workshop, you know, the people want like unique skins and stuff.
Look, you're giving out my secret plans here. That was me. That was actually
sorry. of a tower that goes up forever, like Unseen University from Terry Pratchett.
Oh God! Wait, was that what we were talking? It doesn't matter. Everyone forget I said anything. I was on a forum. Damn it.
That's all good.
But that's a great idea, because it leads to content. It leads to something. It's not just a building.
And that's another thing, is the collaborative aspect. Is, you know, you and your buddies or whatever are building a guild house, or guild town rather, and everybody has to build it in this very like rationed SimCity like fashion where everything's kind of built on a grid. Your house is this one, or this one. You can decorate it however you want. And, you know, the players, they get the template from whoever it is that, you know, made the initial design. They plop down their house in their little, you know, grid spot in the guild town, and they get to do whatever with it. So people can just use, you know, the templates and stuff in order to make something where everybody can contribute and pitch in and be a part of the bigger project in a way that fits the theme and the scope and the style and the scale of it. So you have people able to, you know, work together, and then that'll actually translate into EverQuest Next itself, not just with Landmark, because I'd wager people are going to want to have, especially on role-playing servers, very tight aesthetic restrictions on the kind of buildings that will actually be allowed to go into whatever town, to make sure that it fits the theme and the mood of the place. Like, you don't want some like nasty broke down orc lean-to in the middle of this, you know, otherwise nice, lavish, Western looking castle.
That'd be great.
It would be, but it'd be out of place, and then, you know, the homeowners association or whatever would start getting after that player, and
unless that's where your manservant sleeps.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the size of the property plots every player gets.
Which we don't know yet, but they have said they're significantly large. I mean, there is a basically unlimited world. If it's procedurally generated, they just add another 10 million acres or something like that every time they run out of space. You know?
That's one thing I've been wondering about, is like ocean and access to large bodies of water, and then, you know, having it drained down. I can't remember if I had mentioned this the last one or not, but the elevator from Terraria, where you dig an elevator all the way down to the lowest level so you can access it instantly. Well, if you do that under the ocean, it drains. You basically, you don't freeze over hell, but you kind of lock it in as obsidian and, you know, wash it all out. So it's kind of an interesting idea is, you know, what happens if you actually undermine the lake or the ocean or whatever and have it just start filling the underground. I guess it'd be like a Froglock Paradise or something.
Layden says that he's read a few posts about people being turned off when the mech was shown. They don't want to see that stuff in the game. Remember, Landmark is wide open for you to build whatever you want. So, you know, that's why they have the space, like the spacey looking tech outfit, and then they've also got like the fantasy outfit, the Noble's outfit, is because different people have different things that they want to do in the game.
Like everyone's trying to build the same thing. It just gets boring after a while.
And remember, none of this stuff is gonna, like, you won't see a mech in EverQuest Next. It doesn't fit the lore. It doesn't fit the way the game is being made. So you don't have to worry about that part.
Unless gnomes make one.
Well, yes, it could be some kind of, but then it would look more Tinker-like. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
More steampunk would be kind of cool. All right, so I guess it's time for the Q&A.
Well, I do have one.
Yes, by all means.
Thing about the video, and it deals more with a question that had come up before the video was actually published, and somebody was mentioning there was some kind of a debate back and forth, I think, on the forums where people were talking about, they were kind of up in arms about the fact that in Landmark you will only have humans. Did I hear this correctly?
As of right now, yes.
Okay. At some point, are they going to add other races for Landmark?
Yes.
Not only are they going to add other races, but from what I understand, when new races come out, you can instantly change your human to that race.
Oh.
As like a one-time deal.
Will it scale the clothes too, or are we going to have like an Incredible Hulk moment? And
That'd be great.
I hope that's what happens. That would be awesome.
I hope that we can eventually make our own races within Landmark. You laugh.
Heard it here first. Locke made it up right now.
This is on video right now. I'm gonna come back to this, and I'm gonna say so when we're doing our own models and building our own animation skeletons.
I agree with you right there. I straight up want to rebuild PlanetSide, 1/2, taking the best elements of both in Landmark.
Amazing.
Yeah, Locke, you're going to make a half orc, half dwarf race.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet.
And it means literally half. I mean, it's like it'll be kind of jester style. The upper left and the bottom right parts will be dwarf, and the opposite will be orc.
That'd be awesome. Sort of like
composite orc dwarf.
Dwarf. Yeah.
A dork?
Dwarf.
Oh, yeah. A dork.
Dork.
Okay.
DWORC. Yeah, Fix6 got it. Dork.
We'll see it, man. I'm calling it now. We'll see it.
All right, we heard it here first. Omeed, make it happen, Captain. All right.
Get on it.
Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, which is it's missing. Right there. I can't find it.
So
I've
it's
lost
what?
my topic.
It's what? Q&A?
It's Q&A time.
Well,
it's Q&A time.
Q&A time.
The photo.
All right. Who wants to be our Q&A time reader? I'll do it. Okay.
Don't rush
All right.
All right, I'll do it. I'll read them tonight. That's my turn. All right. From Dalen75. About classes, so there is supposedly to be 40 classes, so aside from just having trade skills as an ability, would it not make sense for a good amount of those 40 classes to be crafting classes? They had those in Star Wars Galaxies, and one of those devs had said that they love Star Wars Galaxies, and it was an old SOE MMO. Any thoughts on this?
I guess classes is vague because they don't specify if it's a combat class or a crafting class or a, some sort of art or entertainment class. You could be a ballerina, use a pink tutu as your deadly weapon, or alternate would be ballerina shoes. I don't know.
Ooh.
Whatever it would be. They don't really. Saying 40 classes is very vague, and it could be even more than that. It could just be an estimate right now. We really don't know how much they know exactly what they want to put in the game. they might have plans for 160 classes, and they only want to start with 40. It's really hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
The ballerina thing makes me think of Odd Job from Bond. Just like spinning and blades shoot out of her too.
Why not?
I'd like to see some crafting classes. I'd like to see some social classes as well. I think the reason there are so many classes though is probably because of the build system that the combat will be based around. So I imagine the vast majority of them will be combat classes. But it would be nice. It would be nice if trade skills and other things as well kind of fit into the class model. I think that would be a nice touch.
It'd be nice to have a Vanguard-style diplomat where you're spreading influence around the world with your deck of cards.
That'd be cool.
That'd be good.
All right, this question's for Trendane. From Val Ravine. Sorry, I'm really bad with names. Will whips be an EQN? If so, why won't Beast Lords have them, or will they be included in flails as a type? I imagine Beast Lords with a whip to help them tame and control their beasties.
Why is this question for me?
Why is it for you, Trent?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Deep.
What have you and Val I don't know how to say it. What have you and this individual been up to?
What have you and Ra's al Ghul been doing? Well, we've been trying to kill Batman. You don't see him using a whip, do you? No.
He might have one on his belt.
The bat whip. No, I hope not. It folds. It's like a little origami whip.
Okay, so despite what the Castlevania series wants people to believe, whips aren't really that potent as weapons. They're, you would have to have a really long one and have a really slow time to actually be able to use. It's not going to break through armor. You're not going to be able to Indiana Jones disarm people. Whips really aren't, you're able to use them to make loud noises. That's practical, but you don't need it as a weapon. That could just be a real short one.
And plus, if you're already a beast lord, you probably don't need a whip. You're already a lord of beasts, surely. It's implicit.
And whips are very much kind of a mid-range. They're not really a melee weapon, usually. Not usually. One of the things that you can do, you could wrap it, like around an enemy's neck or something to basically kind of grapple them at mid-range and then bring them in. But then you either have to abandon the whip or loop it around them again to try to get it around their arms. Mm-hmm. The only way you can use it in short range is to then turn it around, use the handle as a blackjack and club them. Otherwise, it has very little use.
It could be slightly magical.
Could you not dual wield a whip with like an offhand paddle? So you whip and pull and paddle. And that's that's one of the special classes.
It had to be a paddle, not a sword or a mace. A paddle.
Your battle cry is "You've been naughty."
You have to wear a black leather dominatrix helmet.
I could see like a long chain with the blade on the end, like I think it's a geese arm. It's basically you see them in all sorts of animes and stuff. They swirl it around, they throw it, and it goes like super fast, super far, and then they just pull it and it cuts the person's head off. One of those things. That I could see that as a weapon. That wouldn't necessarily be a flail variant, though. That'd kind of be more of a different thing.
Cat of Nine Tails was pretty effective in the Passion of the Christ, I must say.
Well,
yeah, you can.
Memory serves, the recipient was not exactly armored up, if I remember correctly.
No, he was unarmored. He had a THAC0 of 0.
Yes.
So
10.
Weak penetration
10. Thank you.
is what we're saying.
40.
Too soon? Oh, I'm sorry, too soon. Yeah, it's been 2,000 years. I'm sorry. Too soon. Sorry, Trendane.
That's okay.
Okay, so let's move on then, I guess. This next question is for Tobran.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
I'm doing the questions tonight, so I get to say who gets to answer them.
Just
okay.
Omid saying I zoned out. What the hell is happening?
We always want to make sure we bring the audience back.
Yeah.
Like they're sitting there like, okay, I'm
Rein
playing some WoW or something. And they're like, what? What did you say? All right. This one is from Mobile Hero. Mobile Hero.
Oh, we know him.
Yes. Do you think that there soon... Do you think that there should be a necessity of forming a group in order to actually play together, or would a model where everyone would be able to play and help with people around them would be a solution? I guess ALA Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, the Guild Wars 2 system worked really well because everyone got the reward and you didn't need to party up. Obviously, if you wanted to do a dungeon or something that was instance, you would then need to party up. But if you just wanted to go around and explore with just some randomer, they might be in a group with someone else. So you can just tag along with them. You don't need to join a group with them.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do, like, there is no difference to it because you still get the same rewards. You still get whatever else you were going to get. So a system like Guild Wars 2 would work really well in a game like this, I think.
It actually
Especially
encourages
with
people to
rally.
save you.
Yeah.
You're running for your life, and there's some tough critter chasing you. People will actually kill it. You'll get some of the rewards. They'll get some of the rewards, and you'll be all buddy.
That was the beautiful thing I did like about Guild Wars 2 is that there was a bit more sense of crime. Like, you play World of Warcraft, everyone's like, die, fucker.
Yeah.
Like, if he dies, then I get to hit the mob and I get to have the loot. You know what I mean? So let him die first because he tried to take in my loot. I'm going to let him die, and then I'll get the loot from the mob after he's dead. And with Guild Wars 2, it wasn't that way. Everyone, you saw somebody on the ground, you'd run over and help them get back up, and there was a lot more interaction that way. I would hope that they would do something similar in EQ Next. So,
wasn't there some like super demonic rabbit or something named Fluffy, and people would train this rabbit all the way across the freaking world and then stand on top of an awning somewhere and watch it destroy an entire town?
That'd be awesome. People used to do that in EverQuest 1 in the East Common Lands. Well, it wasn't Fluffy, it was a griffin.
Oh, sorry.
And so there was this area where you had to kill these orcs. There was like a little orc camp right outside the East Common Lands, and or right outside the west gate out of whatever place that was, whatever the town was. Anyway, you go outside there, and there's a griffin. It would fly around, but it only came around every once in a while. And what people would do is they'd get its attention as a high-level character that wouldn't die instantly, and then they would run that griffin all around the zone and like start farming noobs. Is what they were doing. Freeport, yeah, it was in Freeport. Thank you, outside of Freeport. So yeah, it's there was some definite fun to be had with that. See, Malice says, I did that stuff, Domo. Thanks, Malice. I was probably on the receiving end of that. Because that was
now we know who to blame.
That was the rally call. There was two things you always yelled in EverQuest. The original one is boat, meaning the boat had just showed up and it was time, everyone who was close by could get to the boat before it took off again. And the other one was griff, because those damn griffin would come by and one-shot everybody. All right, so next question.
Yeah, I think if I may, with that question, it's interesting that the question is phrased in a binary way, where it's like, should we have groups or should we all play together at all times? And I think the game shouldn't get in the way. It shouldn't be like mob tagging or last hitting or anything like that, because that encourages players to not play together, and it makes you annoyed when you see another player in an area. It's like, oh, I want to play here, but there's someone else in this multiplayer game. How dare they? That's, to me, that's just doesn't. It's not good game design. But on the other hand, having a group is good. You want those more kind of solid connections, because that's when social stickiness starts happening. It's when relationships start forming. That when you are in a more sort of structured group, because then that's how the trust starts to build, when you start speaking to people and overcoming greater challenges. So I think, in the open world, I would like it if we could always interact and help each other and support each other. And I think that should be encouraged in the way it was in Guild Wars 2, because that was one of the best things about the game, I think. For the same reason, I think that actually formally grouping with people should be encouraged as well, because that's what kind of creates relationships within games, in my opinion. So I say both. Why not both?
Yeah.
Speaking to people, seriously.
I know.
Speaking to people.
Imagine
And every
massively multiplayer game.
Every time
other people.
when I first started playing WoW, every time I would walk up to someone and I would say, "Well met, ladies," and they're like, "We're not having sex with you." I'm like, "Whoa,
we're not doing cyber. Come on."
Wait a minute.
This isn't that social of a game.
Hi.
Oh my god! The first person that ever spoke to me in WoW, I was in the middle of Duratar somewhere, and someone came running up, and it was like, I had no idea about MMOs at all. Someone came running up. I wasn't even sure if they were a player or not, and they just ran up to me, ran up to me and said, "Give me all your money," just in say. They just said, "Give me all your money," and then just stood still for a few seconds, and then went lol and ran off. Most of the last time I ever saw them, and I was like, "This is brilliant." I was, oh man, that had me for another 9 hours.
That would be an awesome NPC, thing.
But the one thing we can look forward to, and this is still sort of on that same topic, is we will have a Sony emote, SO emote, which you'll be able to use your webcam and just talk, and your character's mouths will move the same way that you're. And I did a demonstration of this, and a couple of you guys have done demonstrations of this, and it's going to be much better in this game. So, and they have talked about that, just like in PlanetSide 2, the farther you are away from somebody, the less you hear them if they're yelling or screaming or whatever. So when you're walking through a city, there is every chance that you will hear crowd noises, that you're hearing other players chit-chatting back and forth with each other while you're walking through, and that's a proximity speech. Yes, thank you, Mobu.
They better have beard support.
They'll have a beard support. The doors will have to have beards.
Yeah, but I mean, apparently the SO emote had trouble with people with beards because, the shape of the face.
This is my revenge.
No, it only goes off of your lips. As long as you don't have like a beard hanging over the front of your lips like this, then you're fine.
As long as you're not a dwarf.
Yeah. No, there definitely is proximity speech. They did say that is definitely a thing, unless they've changed it since the SOE Live, but...
I'm just going to be running up to people going, "Give me your money!"
Yeah, just stand there with your hand out.
But yeah, in-game VoIP is cool, but it's tragically underused with how easy it is to get things. What's that, sorry?
It might pick up with this, I mean, there's times I want to sit here and listen to music while I'm playing, and I don't want my character's mouth to be singing the song, But I think for the most part, if you wanted to communicate with somebody, I think it would be way quicker to talk.
See, I do that on Second Life a lot. Whenever I get in there and I'm logged in as my huge towering werewolf character, and I go walking into the club because I think it's awesome to take a werewolf into a club, and you just walk in and go, "Good evening," and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Go sit down.
Because Trendan's a voice actor. For those who might not know what he's talking about, he can do some great voices.
And he will ruin your immersion.
People are saying, "Is dude, are you a girl in real life?" Yeah, you can answer that question and be like, "Yes, I am. I'm just a transgender dude." But literally they have some voice modulators that are going to be built in too, so you can make your voice sound like a halfling, or deepen it up to sound a little bit more like an orc. I just know that a lot of kids are going to want to use it just so they don't sound like kids, because they get harassed pretty hard on games sometimes.
What the hell is your name? It's under your Lock. You mentioned that you were going to go running around doing that, and immediately when SO emote, when that video first hit, and they were showing the girl, whatever her name is, Euphigenia, whatever her name is, and she was like. And that's just exactly what I pictured. This is like SO emote, everybody in the entire city. Oh god, another noob.
That's what I'm hoping for. It's the reaction that I aim for in every social interaction.
Yeah, it's important.
Okay. All right, next question. This one's for Locke. All right, I noticed in the land. Start over. This is from Palace 8. I noticed in the what is the landmark video. Oh, we already talked about that. Skip it. This one's for Locke. This is for Zenjai Pegleg. Will there be physics-enabled function?
What an interesting question. Probably not at launch. I think they just want us to be able to build static things, but eventually it's sorry?
And fly. So.
And fly.
Well, you're gonna be able to fly up in the air and build things.
I thought by physics enabling they were talking about sort of voxels that have different properties, so that we can make more machine type things rather than just building.
Oh yeah, like red blocks.
Was that the question? That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah,
I thought they meant like floating platforms.
Yeah, like you could build a building in the air with no support.
Yeah, like if you make something, you can give it a certain set of physical rules, like so whether it adheres to gravity or things like that, or as well making more mechanical machine type things like pressure plates or things like that. That's where my mind went with that. But physics enabling, I suppose eventually they'll want us to be able to build floating things, but then they'll also want us to have things that do obey gravity. So I guess there's going to have to be some kind of tagging or toggling system for that.
Sorry, he's saying moving and spinning is what he's thinking.
Well, that
moving
kind
and
of,
spinning, yes.
That kind of ties in with what I was thinking is that, let's say, for example, I mean, getting back to the whole building props thing and trying to build stuff that's very small, if you had like a staff that you had made that had like it was like a wooden staff, obviously, and then at the top it had kind of tree branches sort of thing, and in the middle you had a water voxel that was liquid and moving, but it didn't pour out from between the branches and stuff. Obviously, it would have to be able to move when you move the staff around or whatever, but so partial physics would apply.
That would be really cool, actually. You might have to put it in some kind of a globe or make it some kind of zero gravity just around that part of the staff.
Use some sort of transparent something or other just to bind it in the area. I mean, that sounds more like a prop than a something you'd actually use voxels for at that point. So you'd actually probably have more access to like a volume of particle effects there.
You're not going to be able to fly in EverQuest Next the same way you can in EverQuest Next Landmark. And so a lot of the buildings, that's what I think Comarestes 87 is saying, that if you build a building, it has to be able to stand up in EverQuest Next, meaning that it has to be structurally supported in the right way so it doesn't just tip over or fall down.
So no leaning tower pizza.
That'd be awesome. Just stack a million pieces up.
But then the other side of that is I personally hope that in Landmark they're very open with what is possible and how we can break the laws of physics in different ways. Like, did you see recently that new I don't know how new it is, but I heard about a Minecraft mod that introduced quantum mechanics into Minecraft. So like they've got blocks that if you view them from different angles, they either exist or they don't. But it's only because of your position relative to the blocks, and what direction you're viewing them from. Yeah, exactly. But there were a few different quantum tricks that they had involved. But it can be used to make very interesting traps and puzzles. So that's perhaps cool. Maybe even take it as far as that. Hopefully,
that would be like Antichamber. That's trying to the game based on, I guess, non-Euclidean space. Or you can,
Oh, I meant to get that in the sale. I missed it.
Oh, well. It'll be around again.
It would be perfect for my English teacher in high school who only wanted us to write on one side of the piece of paper. And I maintained that, by God, someday I was going to create a one-sided piece of paper so I didn't feel like I was wasting it. Yeah. And the problem was that she also had us take our papers up and put them face down on her desk, and then it would just cease to exist. And I was like, I gotta figure that
out. That's right, ladies and gents. Into the portal, quantum mechanics.
We're talking the deep stuff here, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Next question. Actually, we're running low on questions, so if you guys have some more, please throw them up in the chat, please. Okay. This one, I guess, is for Mr. Drunken Munkin. Mr. Legendary Neurotoxin. Okay, ready?
Yep.
You might not even know the answer to this, but I'm asking you anyway. Have you seen any info on the upcoming Kickstarter MMO Shroud of the Avatar? They have a really unique way of interacting with NPCs where they can actually engage you in a conversation. I found that really fascinating, although I don't expect it to be anywhere near like talking to another player. I think that's really add to the immersion of the game with story bricks, a bit of work. I think this is the same thing could be done for EQN. Actually, anybody who's seen this game could talk about it. I have not.
Yeah, I actually saw when Shroud of the Avatar had the first little preview video, and Richard Garriott went out with everybody and talked about the stuff and showed off all of his equipment that should rightly be in a museum or something. And that stuff, it looks like a great game. It looks like it's got a lot of procedural elements, really trying to break from the mold of the current WoW EQ2 kind of mold that most games more or less fall into the bad habits of, or not necessarily bad habits, but they're things. It's the Toon Canon and D. Everybody's done it before. It's they're not trying to reinvent the original MMO so much as make a completely new, different experience with Shroud of the Avatar, based on all their experience. And I would say, it's a good idea for, taking all of the elements of like the entire Ultima series, and actually around, I think, number 8, they actually started getting some really worthwhile conversation with NPCs, more than just like a list of keywords and then you select a keyword and they talk about it, or they say some canned answer. Oh, gee, I don't know about that. So that's one of the things that's really nice is that there's just so much diverse, complex conversation to be had. Now, when we think about other AAA console games like Mass Effect series, for example, it wasn't necessarily that you could ask every NPC anything, but you had a lot of stuff you could talk about. There was a whole lot of whatever that sound was, a whole lot of conversation points and a lot of things, and it was very responsive and reactive to things that happen in the world that are relevant to them. I think, if I remember correctly, Fallout 3 was another series that was like that. So the idea of really complex, complicated conversation and dialogue, and especially using story bricks and interaction with story bricks as one of those, another aspect of it, could definitely be very... What are you doing, Trendane?
Nothing.
Could definitely be a thing that's achievable in a request next and landmark, and depending on how complex they actually want to make the tools and things that react to things in the world, it could actually, you could be talking to an NPC and it's like, I know this is an NPC, but damn, they're a real smart NPC. They actually know what the heck's going on, and they know that I'm actually trying to screw them over right now.
All right.
How do I keep them from figuring out that I'm trying to screw them over?
It's one of those things. I think Shroud of the Avatar is certainly one of the things that's got me interested in it. Is the way that you actually type to you have to engage NPCs in conversation, and they have this kind of parsing technology. So you just type a question, and if the question makes sense and it's something that the NPC wants to talk about, they'll just give you an answer. And the answer that they give can be based on relationships and things as well. So you pull that up in some fancy AI, and you can, I don't know, I don't like the word immersion with things like that, because honestly, like, if I'm sitting at my computer typing what I'm typing out what I'm saying, that's, to me, that would be, that would take me out of an experience more than anything. But I think
something like that. Didn't you have to ask questions like that in EverQuest? I thought you did.
The original EverQuest, you did have to type, questions and things to NPCs to interact with them. That's correct, and that's one of the many.
Maybe that's where I've been going wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you can't find anything.
The passing technology for Shroud of the Avatar, I hope works really well, because it looks really interesting.
Imagine how much faster you could have learned that song if you had just gone back to the thing and said, "How do I learn this?"
All right.
But that takes all the fun out.
We were there for like 20 minutes.
Shh. It was all cleverly edited to make us look super pro.
Yes.
And like we knew what we were doing.
Was it? Maybe I saw the pre-edited version then.
Shh.
This question is for Tobran.
No? Okay.
Okay. Having watched, this is from Cyril, having watched Lock of Tobran in '99, I'm kind of hoping to be close to just as confused when I log into EQN the first time. What are your thoughts on this? Too much?
No. Just no. I mean, it was fun and all, but like they just gave you so much. You're just like, what do I do? Like you just don't know what to do. Like I had this like thing that said go to this guy. Didn't tell me where he was or anything. It just said go to him.
Yeah, this is hardcore. This is the way we played games in those days, fellas.
I know it's hardcore, but a
You
little
have to be
point it could
sitting
be nice. Like,
barefoot.
even tell me what zone to go to first, or just give me a run through of the UI or something.
No. Go and find.
Okay,
Fine.
Fine.
You can go out and you say, this is what I want to do. The thing that they don't tell you is how. If you're just plopped into the world and it's like, okay, I want to go out and do stuff. How do I fight?
There's the trick, because otherwise you were a fetus and then you were all of a sudden a full-grown man. Like there was no growth where you would have known, this is how I walk out of this building, this is where I... It's almost like you just didn't exist and then you existed.
But yeah, I mean, on the one hand, yeah, that's fine. But you know, you can walk around and talk to people. So obviously, there's like a grey area. You know, walking around, you know, not even knowing how to swing my sword at something. To me, that's not good game design. It doesn't have to direct you. It doesn't have to say go to this point on the map. It doesn't have to say, you know, follow this trail, talk to this person. It doesn't have to say read the note in your bag even. But I need to be able to.
This is what we used to do.
Function within the world.
This is what we used to do. You used to have to stop playing the game, close it, go to a website called Stratix, and look up on Stratix exactly what the quest was asking you to do, and then come back.
You know what that is?
Start the game up.
That is bad game design. I'll say it. That's bad game design.
That's or you could,
if players are in your game and they don't know what to do. You know, that's the fault of the designers.
I don't know. I think that was just
if it's so puzzling that players have to look at a source outside the game and outside the game manual in order to figure out what to do. Yes, you're in deadly waters. In fact, you might be in Deadly Towers. That was a game that had very, very little explanation.
I literally bought a book that this guy wrote for $35 that taught me how to play EverQuest.
Wow.
This was way back when. That was a lot of money because it was like, this is how you play. And it had everything step by step how to do it.
Yeah. So I would say if you don't know how to play the game, like, I'm all for running out in the world and finding things to do, but if I don't know how to talk to NPCs, if I don't know how to get quests, if I don't know how to fight things, if all I know how to do is run around and drown in a lake in the city. That, you know,
and the way he's laughing makes it seem like you've done that recently.
Maybe
I didn't, but I know someone who.
So,
stay quiet.
I would say Legend of Zelda is an example to look at. You start, you don't have any weapons, but you have a controller in your hand with finite controls: up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. So you have those constraints right off the bat. I can see a lot of times with PC games where they put you in and expect you to find that spacebar, V, B, control, shift, tab, 1 through 8, and the enter key are the relevant keys. And, you know, somehow you're supposed to find that. That's.
I think the original game came with a like a fold-out piece of cardboard that had with the keys on it. I think. I know it came with a cloth map. The original box. I don't have it anymore. But
instruction manual.
What was it? Yeah, there was a manual, but there was also like a fold-out keyboard thing that you could set on your keyboard so you could see what things did what. But it's been a long time, as all of you know.
An overlay, you mean?
It wasn't even an overlay, because in those days you had the old IBM keyboards, you know, the big clicky-clacky ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Very difficult to sleep through.
No. All right, moving on. This question, I guess, is for Locke.
Oh, God.
All right, when do you think they will add combat? The video seems to allude to it being there on launch. I know they said eventually, but the video seemed different. This is from Malice 9000.
I had the same thought, actually. The way that Mr. Georgeson was talking about combat, it did sound like it was going to be coming very soon. But so far, the last official line that we heard was not at launch. So I'm still, I'm still expecting it, long after alpha beta, closed beta, open beta, launch. And then, so we're talking potentially even, where are we at now? 6 months from now, potentially. But so yeah, it's one of those. It did seem, by the way, he was talking that it was coming sooner, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because
and the fact that it said coming soon at the end of the video, it was a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
We
all know soon. We know that.
Well, we know we have attacks, and we know we have creatures that respond to being hit by attacks, and we know we have voxels that respond to being hit by attacks. But do we have combat? No, that's like
do we know any of those things?
well, we've seen them from like even the SOE live video. They had the people live playing on the computers
Well,
doing
those
the
were
little thing.
static
Were they-
mobs that just sort of stood there with a stick. You know?
Exactly. We have attacks. We have things that respond to attacks, and we have voxels that respond to attacks. That isn't combat.
No.
That's like a very
Yeah.
basic prototype. We do not have combat.
Probably
So
not
while
yet.
we have a prototype that is the inklings of the combat system, and yes, one could use the canned creature or the canned Karen or whatever with the weapon and go and smack the can mobs in the destructible area or whatever. Yeah, they can do that, and it kind of looks like combat. It's just a prototype. It's just simulating what it needs to for the purpose of the video and demonstration. That's all.
All right. Next question is for me.
Yay!
I tweeted Geekdomo about having a girl special guest, so I have to bug him about it here too. When can we see some girls on Into the Portal? Locke's girlfriend can be a special guest.
I ain't got a girlfriend. Shut up.
That's his woman. That's his
My lady
friend.
My lady person you're talking about.
Yeah.
Who are you watching?
So Fu is going to be our next. We can have. I have no problem with having girls. I have no problem with having the women on here at all. It's just for whatever reason, it's just a bunch of guys got together and started doing this.
Yeah, for whatever reason. I would.
Trendane's happy.
I'd love to have her on. She's super psyched for Landmark especially.
She's super psycho?
She loves the
Yeah,
building.
Well,
super
she's a
psycho.
girl,
We're out of room though. We're gonna have to kick one of the other guys out. Lock you
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. Does she
Yeah,
have a like a
No,
webcam?
the thing is, she's uncomfortably in love with Trendane, and I feel like
There we
if
go. We can
I
put her
got
right next to him.
together like that, it'd just be embarrassing.
Yeah, there's no beard requirement for the women.
That is sexist. Get out.
Matter of fact, without a beard would be preferable.
She's a lady dwarf, and she's got a long, luxuriant beard.
Yeah, Shrouded
See
Hope
how much
says,
conditioner she goes through. God.
Yeah, Shrouded
She
Hope
does.
just had flashbacks of Trendane's tentacle abomination imitation. Let's not do that again, okay? You caused some real psychosis
she'll-
there.
She'll certainly pop up in my live streams once we're allowed to stream.
in your-
again.
Sorry,
Yeah.
in your what?
Live
In
stream.
my
Lives,
My-
I heard love streams. I was like,
she'll
That
pop
was a
up in my
Sony
live
thing.
streams.
Back to EQ, and that's
No, that's the question I have. Is Omid still here? Did he bail? Omid, we need special dispensation so that we can actually stream EverQuest Next while it's in beta.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I know it's not going to happen, but I can
No.
complain about it.
what'll happen is he'll give me special dispensation because he knows that my machine won't run it. So it'll be perfect.
It will. Trendane's going to have a new computer soon.
Oh, he's here. He's here.
Okay.
Oh, indeed.
All right, Omid. No. Oh.
He says, oh.
Just no. Not even capitalized. Just N-O, a little lowercase. No.
Nothing. Oh no, we got a smiley face. There's still hope.
Well, that smiley face looked a little evil. It's like the robot smiley face.
Yeah, it's a robot smiley face.
I don't trust those at all.
Shut down. That's why there's no girls on the show. Can you imagine? Oh.
It's that old phrase, never trust a smiling wolf. You know, that kind of thing.
Or a smiling robot face. Yeah, that was letting me down gently. Yeah, I know. I don't want to do much. I just kind of want to run around for maybe 12 to 24 hours a day playing EverQuest Next on my live stream. I mean,
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
I think it's totally reasonable.
I mean, I'll get back into the habit of streaming. I just really want to play Landmark. Like, that would just
Yeah,
be
me
amazing.
too, but we can't stream it till
Exactly.
after beta. Yeah.
It's so annoying. There's so many brilliant games. There's so many brilliant games, and I don't want to play any of them.
Me too.
Because you
I'm
just want to
waiting.
play Landmark.
It's coming.
No.
That's what I
Yeah,
feel at the
right.
moment.
I'm like, I've just started getting into Dota 2, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But I don't
But
really
it's
want to
not
play it.
Landmark.
Play
That's
smart.
the
I just got into the Hearthstone beta, and it's brilliant. Like I really dig it. It's just my type of game.
What about this?
I'm not really that bothered about playing. Well, it's
What about
Battlefield
this,
4,
Omid?
like, less than
Okay,
just-
Omid, I have a solution that will solve everybody's problem. You give us special dispensation to stream Landmarks so long as we only show our Landmark face over the stream and we don't show the game itself.
Be like, oh my god.
Oh my god, it's okay.
Look
oh my
at
god.
that! I built this huge statue of Omid. You gotta see it, everybody. Yeah, honestly, Omid, the sooner that you can lift the NDA, the better in the long run, because...
Because that's his call, of course.
Yeah. The reason I say that is because the more people that are streaming it, the more interest it's going to build.
Domo. The sooner you go to bed, the sooner Santa will come. All right. Now let's move on.
Take your Benadryl and go to bed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh well. All right. Next question. Do you guys think there should be a continent where you have to actually defend your plot of land from monsters trying to raid you? Basically, a reverse dungeon where your house castle is the dungeon and the players are boss fights, and you have to hire a guard NPC and such.
Yeah,
that sounds like they've created an MMO version of a tower defense game.
That'd be great, right?
Yeah,
I want
like
laser beams on towers with sharks.
What's the matter, Locke? What the hell was that?
This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. No, there should not be a continent for this. Do you know why? Because SOE should not be running this. The players should be running this. The players should be setting up plots and making this themselves and designing the AI of the mobs and designing them to come and attack you at certain points if you want to play that kind of tower defense type of thing. We shouldn't have a continent. We shouldn't be given an area and like patted on the head and go play. That's not what Landmark is for at all. We should be the ones building it. All that stuff is absolutely great, and I would totally play that. And hopefully, I'll get to come and play your awesome thing that you build in it. But no, they shouldn't give us it. We should make it. We should build it.
Hey, Panique's here. That's funny because Panique actually works for Stratix. What a funny coincidence that is. And then Omid just said, Domo, I totally agree. We'll just have to balance all that stuff against quality, crashiness, etc. Shrouded. Okay. So here's the plan. When it crashes, like I'm playing EverQuest Next Landmark, and I'm playing it, I'm streaming it out for 24 hours every day, and it crashes, I automatically play Nyan Cat until it fixes, and then it comes back. That's totally fair, right? Couldn't we do like a Nyan Cat?
So you just shut the servers down for like 24 hours.
Just do that for like 4 hours while the servers are coming back up, and then it comes back and be like, no guys, I was playing all along. Nyan Cat just accidentally slipped onto my stream.
So, one more thing for this question, I would say...
back on the question.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Doing challenge packs where you actually set up the creatures and their difficulty and the AI, and you put it out there, and players can then release that challenge pack on their world and try on their little plot and try to defend it as best they can. So it isn't necessarily like a codified game so much as people being able to create a challenge scenario in the form of waves of enemies, and players can choose to then turn those on and then basically fight until they can't fight anymore, or till they've had enough, or till they defeat them, or whatever the terms of it are. But I could see that sort of thing being a way to do that kind of like trying to defend your land from raiding monsters thing, is that you would actually choose to do that, or maybe somebody, you give them the permissions to put down the monsters and they deploy the creature challenge packs.
We did hear a little thing. Was it the Rock Paper Shotgun interview where they were talking about Mr. Georgeson did say that things like that, the more game type content would probably be instanced within Landmark, so anyone could access it, and they wouldn't all have to be built on the surface. Like you could go into it in a sort of instance version. But I quite like the idea of it not being on your own plot, but kind of I like the idea of people traveling to a plot. Like a famous plot where someone's built something that becomes incredibly popular and people really enjoy sort of playing it, and then you actually get a physical community around that area. I think that could be very cool, because we can travel freely, can't we? So there's no reason, there's nothing physically stopping you from going to someone else's plot, as far as I'm aware.
I agree with you, Domo. I think we as many times as he's been on the show, we should absolutely just call him Dave.
Yeah, he's our pal. Our pal Dave.
My dog's called Dave.
Dave's not here, man.
We could get Dave on the show.
What kind of dog is Dave?
I've never seen Dave.
What kind of
Never
dog
seen
is
Dave?
Dave?
Oh, he's upstairs with Foo. We'll get them both on the show.
What kind of dog is Dave?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's a mix. He's a mixed collie black lab. He looks like an adolescent black lab, but with spaniel ears.
Long hair?
No, I
Puts
mean
in a
Georgeson.
ponytail?
Longish.
Oh. He said George.
What kind of dog is it?
Yeah, what kind of dog is Dave Georgeson?
I think he's probably a pug.
He's a dog.
Oh, that is no. You be
harsh.
quiet.
I love my pug. I have a pug.
I would like to now officially divorce myself from any involvement with this heinous statement or
The views and
anus
opinions
statement.
expressed by Geekdomo do not necessarily reflect.
Oh, absolutely, yes. We must have that disclaimer. Anything I say in the show has nothing to do with SOE or anything like that. All right, next question. This is for Turndane, actually. From Gamer Goblin. I haven't heard anything about this, so I was just wondering if you know if you can become a werewolf or a vampire. Personally, I won't be one, but I think it would be cool to have it there.
If you've never heard anything about it, then how could you possibly ask the question? Now, could I? Yes, I could become a werewolf. Oh, you mean in the game?
Losing it. Yes.
In the game.
you can be a werewolf or a vampire. You know, those are different classes you can pick, along with mummy and Frankenstein and
dude, I would
ghosts
totally be
and
mummy.
ballerina.
Fruit brute.
Elder Scrolls Online is that way.
Yeah.
Anything that allows me to turn into a werewolf has my vote. Honestly, I would think not. For EverQuest Next in particular, I would think that no, that would not be a thing. Though that would, getting back to the, this being able to see at night and stuff, that would change things rather drastically, I would think. But no, I suspect that if you have been bitten, if I were designing it for EverQuest Next, I would say that if you have been bitten by either a werewolf or a vampire, you will be at a significant disadvantage functioning during the day or whatever, and you would have to go and have a curse removed by either a high-ranking, whatever the cleric class is going to be, and you cannot cure yourself if you are a max level every class kind of thing. It has to be externalized.
Plus 1,000 internet points for Happy Hansel. Does sparkling count as bioluminescence?
No, it does not. Because sparkling requires an external light source to happen.
Awesome. Okay. Next question for Mr. Legendary Neurotoxin. With the world being so large and EverQuest Next landmark, what type of mounts would you like to see? Oh, see you later, Mead. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
See you, Mead. Types of mounts. I mean, the classic fantasy mounts, your horses and steeds, your flying things, but then getting more in like magic carpets and other random objects that happen to fly, and just being able to naturally fly because you're a superhero because it's landmark.
Or you've
really
got a thruster pack built into your tech gear.
It's one of those things where I almost feel like it should be a regional restriction that people can apply to their terrain if they've got a claim there, is that no, you have to use ground transportation to get through this. And then there could even be further limitations, like you can only use the default stuff. You can't come rolling through here with your giant tank and blast holes through everything. So I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have a tank. I mean, that's gonna happen. I'm gonna rebuild the Mag Rider. It's gonna be in landmark. That's gonna be a thing. But yeah, there's gonna be just mounts of all varieties. Fantasy stuff, sci-fi stuff, steampunk, cyberpunk, whatever. Get crazy with it. Ride a giant octopus. Ride a giant flying octopus.
Tree swinging octopus.
Tree swinging octopus. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I ended up at last time we were talking about this, wasn't it? I don't know. What's the question? What kind of mounts would you like to see? What kind of mount would I like to ride? Tiny elephant. Tiny elephant. Elephant the size of a goat. Done.
Is it a screaming goat
No, it's an elephant.
or a fainting
A
goat?
fainting goat would be great as a mount. Every time somebody ran up to him, they'd be like, ah! Fall over.
I'm talking about
Adventure. Damn
I'm
it.
gonna be a dwarf as well, so I'm just gonna be like little and stout, and the elephant's gonna use its trunk to pick apples up off the floor and pass them up to me, and I'm gonna take a bite with my hands still on the reins, and then it's gonna eat it itself. Probably none of that will happen, but tiny elephant.
Voxel apples.
That's like sharing a toothbrush with your pet. I don't know about that.
Yeah. All right. I guess this is our final question from Snowman Wilkie. Now,
Hello.
with information that has come out recently for Landmark, how has it affected your vision of your steakhouse?
Steakhouse. That's the first thing that I'm going to build when the building tools come out. I've got this little idea. I really like kind of I like the whole kind of beer hall thing. I like the Viking longhouse thing. Kind of mashing those together with the sort of Celtic designs and stuff that you see as well. A lot of very typical kind of Tolkien fantasy dwarf type of stuff, but make it a little town that's kind of it's not quite an outpost, but it's not quite connected. It's like on the trade route. So because it's on the trade route, you get a lot of outside influences as well, and like there's a few nefarious characters. You know, Foo's going to be building a dwarven strip club just next to the steakhouse called the Bearded Clam. So everyone's welcome to come down. And have a tipple at the Bearded Clam, and then come down to the steakhouse afterwards.
Trendane's going to pass out now, by the way. It has nothing to do with the Bearded Clam.
What I was kind of hoping for, and actually something that might be a bit of a letdown for me, because we don't know about building underground, and I was kind of hoping that over the top it would be quite sort of modest, apart from the big neon sign for the Bearded Clam, which will obviously be rather garish. You know, I want to kind of have these sort of underground like beer keller type of things, like sort of traditional sort of Eastern European meets Viking meets Celtic. So that's just a few ideas I've had. Obviously, that's just when we have building tools. Later on, I'm going to be building PvP arenas based around quantum mechanics.
Trendane will never visit. And they want clarification: is it a nipple, a tipple, or a ripple, or a whipple?
No, it's more of a teppanyaki kind of thing.
If you buy two, you get the third free. How about that?
Ooh, that's a tipple? I get a triple with a tipple.
That's the triple, only at the Bearded Clam.
At the Bearded Clam. I think that name's been taken, but okay, whatever. All right, so I guess that's it for tonight. An hour and a half. It's not bad. Hour and 40 minutes by the time we're done.
It's okay.
Very good. All right, so real quick, Mr. At Drunken Monkey down there.
Drunken Munkin.
Drunken Munkin. Tell us about your...
Drunken Munkin.
Drunken Munkin.
Tune in next week to find out if Geekdomo
can get this right. You know my history with names. It's just like... Call yourself Bob or something, I'm cool. But anything after that, I get a little...
So, neurotoxin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about your channel. Yes. YouTube, Twitter.
I was doing a little bit of live streaming here and there on Twitch. That's kind of been on hold. I should probably start again pretty soon. There's nothing really stopping me. But well, for this, yeah. But you know, other games and projects and stuff, or my own stuff, I probably should have done a live stream playthrough of Ninja when I was playing it. That's a game that I made everybody. Ninja Saves Hanukkah. Made that a couple of years ago.
I was going to say, it sounds like Ninja. It's like Ninja Jews.
Yes, it is.
They throw Stars of David?
Yes, okay. Yes.
I just thought that maybe it might be that.
The highest level version of it is the Superstar of David.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Is the phrase ninjitsu racist?
Ninju? Maybe.
Ninjitsu.
I don't know that. What I will tell you is the difference between jiu-jitsu and judo. Jiu-jitsu is a style about, you know, grapples and tackles, and judo is what's used to make bagels.
Hey!
Oh, hey! All right, next week.
I am Jewish, so I can...
You can do that. Very good. All right, cool. Mr. LockSixTime, tell us about your stuff.
Hello. I've got a channel on YouTube where I do videos. I've got a series called the Voxel Populi where I talk in general design terms about EverQuest Next and EverQuest Next Landmark. So you might be interested in that. There's another series called Project 99, Party Like It's 1999, which no one should ever watch ever.
Ever.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Run
It'll
away
burn.
if you see it. Matter of fact, turn it off. Make sure the kids don't.
I am.
Yeah, definitely should.
What else do I do? I'm on this show, so you can watch this and have a lovely time. And I write a column for Zam.com, which is about EverQuest Next and EverQuest Next Landmark. That goes up every Saturday. The new one will be up tomorrow because that's Saturday. You can go read the first one while you're waiting with bated breath. I think that's about it. Yeah, YouTube, Zam, this. Come around my house, we'll have a cup of tea.
Lovely. You live in London, right?
Yes, London is the big building with the flags.
Okay, very nice.
You'll find it.
All right, Tobran, tell us about your stuff.
My stuff. Okay, I have a YouTube channel where I do a weekly show where I do a breakdown of all the news in the EverQuest Next community. So like this show, but like 5 minutes. Just a big globby mess.
We do kind of stretch
We
things
ramble on
out.
so much, but it's so much fun. Like,
We're like a
it's
Zeppelin
so much
song.
more enjoyable.
Just rambling on.
It's great. I also do a lot of live streaming on my Twitch page. I'm also on Evercast for a segment every week now, which is awesome. And I think that's it.
And it's also really important to watch his Twitch channel, just so you can watch him not fly planes.
Not fly planes, try order pizza. What else happened? Lots of bad stuff happened. We called like American phone line
Neverwinter.
I had so much fun. Remember that extra live stream? Oh, that was beautiful. I laughed so hard. It was amazing. Anyway.
Cool.
And then try to call American companies.
Oh yeah.
In the
Trying to
morning
call Apple.
through Skype. Yeah.
Just for the hell of it, I'll probably go live after this.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So everyone check out your, what's your Twitch channel? Is it just Tobran?
Tobran95.
Okay.
Because Tobran was taken.
Oh, you're Tobran Ernwood. I didn't put that on this.
Yeah.
All that long
no.
it's been wrong. You should have said something. You're so polite, you UK types.
Is it wrong? Oh.
It's Tobran Ernwood.
Well,
You can tell I'm on the ball.
It's your name. I don't know. Sorry.
I
All
don't
right,
check
so
things.
cool. Mr. Trendane, first off, everybody really wants to know what is the status of your new supercomputer?
Well, I haven't bought it yet, so it's still in the hands of the proprietors who own the various pieces and parts. It's almost like a quest, really, to sit there and say, all right, now go get this part. Now go get this part. And then I will
Bring
have...
back 10 orc heads and I'll give you a processor.
But not every orc has a head, so
Right.
you have to.
You have to kill like 45 orcs to get 10 orc heads, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
very
really
important.
strange how that works. Maybe because you chop their head off, I don't know.
I brought you all kids. What?
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah,
kids.
it's- when orcs are about to die, they cut their heads off.
But we did get disbursement from said company, so it's now just ordering in the parts.
Yep. The money is now in my PayPal account, and I will start ordering pieces and parts and whatnot and putting things together. And yes, there will be a look, here's my beautiful new system video, and as well as a thank you video for all of the people who helped by contributing to this thing. What was it that the Tobran called it? A beast system? Was that what you called it?
Yes. It's going to
Now
be a beast.
I will have a Beastmaster account, I guess. And
So for anybody who's curious, we
Beast
raised
Lord.
over $1,200 for Mr. Trendane's computer. Unfortunately, the site that we did it from does take a huge chunk of change. He didn't quite get $1,200, I'll tell you that.
so I now have 35 cents to
It's
buy
got
a part.
35 cents. Yeah, I don't know. That would be great.
And aside from that, I am trending everywhere.
Yes, he does
Very
his own. Watch his Daily Dairy. It's really good.
Dear Dairy, my daily vlog, yeah.
He does a daily vlog. It's really funny.
Especially good on Tuesdays, apparently. I've been getting a lot of... my TMI Tuesdays videos seem to be the most popular ones. Like, oh my god, this story's awesome. It's like, what are you talking about?
And I'm the one that gets abuse. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, okay, and then I'm Geekdomo, and then Dalen just says, I don't know how you watch the chat, host a show, and are still able to get into the conversation. I fake it all.
You'd be a great
they
jazz
still think this
musician.
is live? What?
Yeah. Do it live. Do it now.
Do it live.
But yes, it's a lot of fun to do this show. And I'm at Geekdomo on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. It's really easy to find me. I'm glad nobody else uses Geekdomo because I use it everywhere. If you guys make sure you follow this here channel. This is the EQ Nexus channel, and they're our sponsors. It's right down there at the bottom. And make sure you subscribe to this channel because you'll get notified instantly when we go live every week. But we're trying to keep every week 5 o'clock on a Friday. So, that was one of the biggest problems we were having when we first started doing this show, was that we were sort of all over the place. And it wasn't anybody's fault, just that we had scheduling issues and stuff. But now we're kind of locking in at this time. So, yeah.
Lock it in. I'll get it.
Yep. That wasn't your fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. We're just... But anyway, so thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you, Locke and Tobran and Legendary Neurotoxin and Trendane. Maybe next week we'll have a female of the species on. We'll see if we can coordinate that somehow. We won't get her a beard, but
Unless it's brass, then beard is required.
yes.
And beer. That's
There are
that's
real
the
women
other.
in real life out there. I've seen them.
I don't think we've had any ladies asked to be on, have we?
A couple have sort of asked if they could swing it, but I just never heard back from them. So if any ladies are in the audience who would like to be on the show,
I thought we asked Maka to be on once, and she said she didn't want to.
Yeah, she's self-conscious, I guess. I don't know. Like she has anything to worry about with us, our mugs. Oh yeah. All right, so Natural Cat, you want to do it? Maka should be on. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll get this sorted out, and by next week we'll have something. One other thing I
We'll
wanted
see
to
how
mention.
many people we can get on the screen.
Yeah. One other thing. No, we can actually. This is about the limit I can fit on here. We could probably get one more. I'd have to get rid of the logo. But one thing I want to mention is that we are going to be having a new portion of the show coming up. So if you guys would like to have your video shown during this episode, it has to be under 5 minutes long, and we'll play it during the show. So if you have any discussion or whatever, what's up?
When you say videos, what do you mean?
Viewer submitted video. So if you have a video about EverQuest Next, either Landmark or just the regular thing, or some kind of, whatever you want to talk about or whatever. And it's just,
You mean like video questions, or?
It could be a video question. That'd be
sounds
fine. Or
The only reason I was asking
Yes.
is we have seen difficulties with music before.
Yes, if you
And
have,
so-
make sure your stuff is legit, because I can't play stuff that has, real music, copyrighted music in the background. But just send it over to geek@geekdomo.com and say you want to be into the portal video, and if it's matter of fact, it probably should just be a question without any music. If you want to do a video question, we'll put you on the show. How's that?
Or if you wanna do a little dance, or
Do a
if you wanna
dance.
demonstrate
Hello.
the weaponization of whips.
Yeah, show us your funny hat.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to put up on the show, it's totally fair as long as it's under 5 minutes long and contains no illegal stuff. No tipples.
Yeah.
Mm.
And before we sign off, I want to plug the brewing document one last
Oh
time.
yeah.
If you have the link there.
Yep. In a second. Whoop, I
That's,
gotta change the other one.
Because I did spend a hefty amount of time writing it up, so
Oh,
I
God, it's
definitely appreciate getting people checking it out, commenting on it. I understand I have a lot of very specific terminology in there that might make it really hard to digest. So if there's anything you don't understand, anything that doesn't make sense, please do drop a question either on the EQ Nexus discussion. We also have the same discussion going on in the EQ Next Alpha forum. So if you have Trailblazer access, say what's up on there too. We actually have also a really good discussion going there, but unfortunately it's under lock and key.
Trendane will soon have Trailblazer.
Soon Trendane will be able to read it.
That was one of the other things we were supposed to talk about. Wasn't there discussions about
Gifting.
Founders Packs being giftable?
There you go.
Oh, well. Next week.
Next week.
We'll do it next week. Do it live. And I might have forgot it. Somebody did actually send me a question, and I guess I forgot to read it tonight. Yeah. Next week. I
Next week.
apologize. If you sent me the question, I apologize. Next week we'll get it in. Sorry. All right. So we'll see you all very soon. Until next time, see ya.
Be careless.